Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mike and I'm back here again for our Medical Exercise Training 101 ebook tip. Now, this is tip number 7. And folks, this is one that is going to become more and more important over the next 10 to 20 years. We see a lot of our medical exercise specialists or post-rehab conditioning specialists or medical exercise program directors that get their certifications. They work in a gym setting for a period of time. They're looking to establish a relationship with a doctor, therapist, or chiropractor. And lo and behold, one day, whether it's a chiropractor or an MD or a DO, they come across a situation where now that medical professional is offering them the chance to come into their office and provide these exercise services on site. And folks, in most instances, these usually end up being more painful in the long run. In the short run, they're great. But in the long run, they cause problems. And I think this is one everyone needs to pay attention to if you are a medical exercise professional out there. Number 7, can I offer MET services in a PT, DC, or MD office? So physical therapist, chiropractor, or MD. And let me say this from the start. The physical therapist is usually going to make sure he or she, along with the services you offer, are articulated crystal clear to everyone so there is no misunderstanding as to your role, to the services you're providing, and making sure they understand that you're not a licensed medical professional. That's not a put down, but it's just making sure that we comply with the law. In other settings, it gets a little blurred. So let me read this. Yes, you can provide MET services in any of these settings. You certainly can. The key is clearly articulating and explaining your role, credentials, and background to clients and patients entering the office. Now, notice we use clients and patients, and we're talking about a physical therapist or a physician's office. So those people coming in for the services from the licensed medical professional are patients. The clients that are coming in that office for your services, you'll refer to them as clients unless you're working under the direct supervision of the licensed medical professional. Please let me continue on. Usually when exercise is provided in a medical setting, most people immediately associate it with physical therapy. So there are some parameters you must adhere to avoid misunderstandings. Now, again, this is in a medical setting, like a clinical setting. Physical therapy office, chiropractic office, medical office, whatever the case it is. If you're providing MET services in the office of a medical professional, when we say medical professional, licensed medical professional, and you are not a staff member, nor are you under the direct supervision and employment of the physician, physical therapist, or chiropractor, your services cannot be billed to the insurance carrier under the medical professional's license number. Now, let me be clear on that. And we run into this a number of times where a physician will say, hey, you can come into my office and you can provide your exercise services, but you're a separate contractor. We may take what you do and bill it, and then you give you a portion of it, but you're not working directly for us. You're not under our direct supervision. Folks, that becomes a very, very gray area and can be misinterpreted as insurance fraud. And I know some of you are like, oh, wow, wait a minute, Dr. Mike. Yeah, it can be. And let me continue on. If you're providing MET services as a medical professional's in a medical professional's office, and you are a staff member of the medical professional, and you are under the direct supervision and employment of the physician, therapist, or chiropractor, then your services are part of the treatment regime and can be billed under the medical professional's license. So if you're a staff member, like for instance, let's say you're an MES and you're working in a physical therapy office and you are there working as a physical therapy tech and your services are being billed under the therapist's license number, that's appropriate, but it means that that therapist, or it could be a chiropractor physician, is providing direct supervision of what you're doing. You're not going off and doing it on your own or doing it in a separate location. You're doing it under their direct supervision or auspices. Direct supervision means they're on the premises. You can actually physically get to them while you're providing the service. Now, several of our medical exercise specialists have established their practices within medical facilities. An example is Jason Hodge. He's the owner of Medical Fitness Pros here in Katy, Texas. And we thank Jason for allowing us to host our courses there at his facility and the great job he's done. Jason, for a few years, worked in a large upscale health club here in the Katy area. He developed a large clientele and eventually set out to start his own practice. He rented space in a local physical therapy clinic. He saw his own clients in the physical therapy clinic and also clients the therapist referred to him after their discharge from physical therapy. He is the first MES I know that established an office in a physical therapy clinic. And I thought this was a great concept. And the way he did it and the way the therapist did it, it made it very, very professional. It made it very, very specific, and it was very ethically done. He maintained his practice there for 3 or 4 years. He eventually moved into his own 4,600 square foot facility. He still receives referrals from the physical therapist, but more importantly, while he was in the physical therapy clinic, he was able to establish referral relationships with other medical professionals in the community. He was able to accomplish this while maintaining his own autonomy, billing his clients for his services, as in an invoice, and the client pays with a check, cash, credit card, or some type of device, and avoiding any misunderstandings of his role or credentials. He was very clear. I'm a medical exercise specialist. I'm in a physical therapy setting, but I'm renting space from them. So you, client, when you come in the door, you're not here for physical therapy. You're here for medical exercise training, and you're my client, and I'm not providing any medical services. If you move into a clinical environment and rent or share space with a medical professional, make sure you keep all administrative and billing activities separate. Make sure you have a separate name, stationery, paperwork, appointment, and scheduling system. If you provide written appointments, ensure they're on your business cards. And if you are independent of the medical professional and subletting space, make sure when your clients start at your facility, you explain you are a separate entity from the physical therapy clinic or the medical clinic, whatever the case is. Now, we did an interview with one of our MESs, Susie Dudke, not too long ago at Lake Bluff, Illinois. Susie actually is a medical exercise specialist, but she hired physical therapists to work in her clinic, and they were in a separate component of the clinic. They're in the same building, but they had a physical therapy area and a medical exercise training area. They didn't intermingle the two, and it was very administratively separate. And that separation was to make sure that there was integrity and they didn't get anything mixed up, so that clients were clear, but they wanted to adhere to the law. And the law is very specific about that. So the development of MET services in clinical settings will continue to grow. The need is tremendous and the opportunities are enormous. Folks, there are physicians and chiropractors that would love to have you in their offices. And that's going to continue to grow because they realize exercise is key. It's part of the medical management process. The direct collaboration between medical professionals and medical exercise specialists is a great combination that provides fantastic outcomes for clients, better communication between medical professionals and medical exercise specialists, and significantly improves the health and wellness of the community. But you have to be very careful, folks. And we've had a number of our MESs that have run into bad situations with this in chiropractic offices and in some physician offices where they are providing these services. The services are being billed under the physician's license number, but eventually that insurance company that's being billed for these services eventually comes back and asks for a physical therapist license number. If there's no license number to be reported, then in many instances, the insurance company may say, we want our money back because there's no therapist there. And we were under the impression that there was a therapist there on the premises. The situations we've seen is the physician then docks the medical exercise specialist for the money. And in many instances, this may be a significant amount of revenue that now you have to pay back, and that eventually leads to to a negative relationship, for lack of a better phrase. So one of the things we really are trying to push is the idea of, if you're in these type of settings, make sure you're separate and independent. You're billing the clients for your services, and at no point along the way should you ever be involved in any way making it look like you're providing therapy services and the exercise services you're providing are being billed as therapy services. That is inappropriate. It actually could border on or possibly be insurance fraud. Now, I know this is a very heavy tip, but it's something that we're seeing more and more, and be careful about it. And we get reports from our MESs around the country, or here in North America, I should say, periodically running into these situations. Some of them have gotten to the point where they've had to deal with legal situations. Okay, so be careful about that. But again, thank you for watching. Best wishes to all of you, and please come back for tip number 8. If you haven't gotten our ebook, go down below and get the ebook, or just make sure you leave your name and email address so we can put you on our announcements list. Again, all the best. Thank you.